The members of the Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts performing a traditional dance, and His Holiness is walking in the Tibet Temple courtyard. The name mantra of His Holiness Dalai Lama is being recited at the Main Temple. This prayer, long life puja offering, is led by Namgyal Monastery, and we have the representatives of the different Tibetan Buddhist traditions, the head lamas from different traditions in the temple. We have representatives of the Theravada tradition, waiting for His Holiness. His Holiness blessing the people as he walks along the temple courtyard. Theravada monks making offering to His Holiness. Shirvada Savasiti Hum Om Aguru Vajatar Paramanza Shirvagantas. Shirvada Savasiti Hum Aguru Vajatar Paramanza Shirvada Savasiti Hum. His Holiness walking into the Kali Chakra temple.
Oma Guravina Darabara Madhujero, and the Soma de Jana Sadana, Darasama, the Jerabara Zozil, Oma Guravina Darabara Madhujero, and the Soma de Jana Sadana, Darasama, the Jerabara Zozil, Oma Guravina Darabara, Oganda Soma de Jana Sadana, Darasama, the Jerabara Zozil, Oma Guravina Darabara Madhujero, and the Soma de Jana Sadana, Darasama, the Jerabara Zozil. Abara Mandujero, and the Soma de Jana Sadana, Darasama, the Jerabara Zozil, Oma Guravina Darabara Madhujero, and the Soma de Jana Sadana, Darasama, the Jerabara Zozil, Oma Guravina Darabara Madhujero, and the Soma de Jana Sadana, Darasama, the Jerabara Zozil. Mandujero, and the Soma de Jana Sadana, Darasama, the Jerabara Zozil, Oma Guravina Darabara Mandujero, and the Soma de Jana Sadana, Darasama, the Jerabara Zozil. Oh, Guravina Darabara Mandujero, and the Soma de Jana Sadana, Darasama, the Jerabara Zozil, Guravina Darabara Mandujero, and the Soma de Jana Sadana, Darasama, the Jerabara Zozil. Oma Guravina Darabara Mandujero, and the Soma de Jana Sadana, Darasama, the Jerabara Zozil. Oma Guravina Darabara Mandujero, and the Soma de Jana Sadana, Darasama, the Jerabara Zozil. Oh, Guravina Darabara Mandujero, and the Soma de Jana Sadana.
So we have Garden Rinpoche, and to his left is the Sakya Tenzin Rinpoche, and to his left is the Sherpa Choegyud Rinpoche, and then there is Siddhu Rinpoche, If you're listening, you may recite the mantra of His Holiness Dalai Lama Om A Guru Vajradhara Vataraka Manjushri Vagindra Sumati Jana Shasana Dara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarvasiddhi Here we have some of the members of the Tibetan Central Administration. And the Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarvasiddhi Wan Zhuo Xian Le Tu Pum San Yi Shi Du Zi Deng Den Zin Jia Qian Ru Zuo Zi Bei Jian Pa Zhuo Chao Nang Bei Mo So Wa De. This is a verse praise prayer to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Now His Holiness is walking behind the temple, the main temple, Tenzin Shelling Temple, and everyone is getting ready to receive His Holiness. And this long life prayer offering to His Holiness was instructed by, or advised, recommended by the Tibetan National Protector Deity, Nechung Choegyud Chambo, on the 10th of the first Tibetan month this year, 2146th royal year, which is the year of Earth peak, when Nechung was, as it's the tradition, was consulted every year. As it's being consulted, he's being consulted every year. This year he recommended to make an extensive offering of long life prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So accordingly, Tibetans inside and outside Tibetans from the 3 traditional provinces and the major Buddhist traditions of Tibet, as well as the Tibetan deities, requested His Holiness for his consent to make this long life prayer offering. And His Holiness gladly accepted this offering. And today we are having this long life prayer offering for His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. So that's the Pumbo leader, the head Lama of the indigenous Tibetan religion, Burn. And to the left of the Burn religious leader, head of the Burn tradition, we have Changtse Choegyud Rinpoche, Gosok Rinpoche, His Eminence Gosok Rinpoche, and then Gaden Rinpoche, and now His Holiness touches Sakya Tenzin Rinpoche's head. And then we have Venerable Sharpa Choegyud Rinpoche, Gen Dorji, and Taisidu Rinpoche, and the head of the Nyingma, I think, tradition. And then I think the Garden Tisur Rinpoche, Rizong Rinpoche is also there, so let's just met him. The former Garden Rinpoche. Then we have the abbots and of different monasteries. Seradebanga, then Tashalhambo, Gyudu, and Gyume, and so forth. Here we have the former cabinet ministers and other former CTA officials, as well as the current officials, some of the current of CTA officials. And this is Namgyal Monastery monks who are leading this prayer. According to the Tibetan calendar, today is the fourteenth of the third Tibetan month, the month of Kala Chakra, as it's also considered. So from the 7th to the 12th, which is of the third Tibetan month, which is from the 11th to 16th of May, for 6 days, with Sakyat Goma Tenzin Rinpoche leading the ritual prayer, Namgyal Monastery monks, as well as Gyudu monks, representatives of Gyudu and the Kirti Monastery, 45 monks in all. 45 people performed a long life puja for His Holiness. This is the usual prayer, praise to the Buddha. There are 3 continuous practices. Minamgya, Tumba, Sangya, Chomden, Depe, Gyalwa, Shaikya, Tuba, Lachat.
Jiden Gemba Gevo Dewa Galon Gewa Lana Lada Menanje Demba Zanje Chunden Bejawa Shaja Tova La Chata Jodo Jodo Devo Demba Jomden Deshi Jomba Yanda Sobe Zanje Dewa Jodo Demba Dewa Dewa Jiden Gemba Jevo Galon Jevo Lana Meva Lada Menanje Demba Zanje Chunden Begawa Jaya Dova La Chata Chodo Gyodo Ganze Ganye Zowa Gedan Zazen De La Gamba Demba Manen Jidin Dena Joje Zon Deze Gewa Gela Jade Nanda Gonga Jodo Zozawa Yeje Gazo Zerge Lemba Tava Jidin Zona Lamewa Gomba Janye Gela Jade Senjo Demba Demen Daveje Sendo Jawa Gela Jade Dede Gendo Zewa Zamaje Nyamen Genjen Gela Jade Gombo Doje Jedemba Danje Gembe Demba Bo Zana Yeden Gaze Dejen Gela Jade Lo Dave Deja Dewa Gyo Geven Gezo Lede Jedo Denda Jagyo Jagyo Gela Jade
This is the prayer which recounts lists the names of the previous reincarnations of Avalokiteshvara, including the 14 His Holiness the Dalai Lamas, and then also reincarnations in India, and other incarnations in Tibet, written by the late Gyabje Trishik Rinpoche.
Senge Dodo Ngeze De Jobe Lai Gebe Jala Zowa Gindem Bedan Bore Raze Ja Geza Zenda Rewa Dewa Loje Jeba Yewo Zewa Ba Ranze Renje Jala Zowa Samden Sambo Dode Nenjo Ba Linden Yewo Zola Gondo Yewo Jojin Sagyon Zola Zen Jeye Gewa Bela Zowa Ganjen Domen Jewo Jere De Zama Jembe Göle Nyade
Now comes the point of the prayer where Nyati Temple, the first Tibetan king, is mentioned. Thodi Yensen, during whose time the Buddha Dharma initially reached Tibet, as it's usually believed, through some miraculous appearance of some scriptures. So that's the Thanga painting of Amita Yus, I think. This long life prayer is being offered based on Amita Yus ritual, which is called drawing forth the essence, the pure essence So this particular ritual for long life offering to His Holiness Dalai Lama was composed by the fifth Dalai Lama, Ngawala Sangyatso, and it looks like it's part of the 25 visionary teachings of His Holiness, the fifth Dalai Lama. The ritual is entitled Drumtsen Doje Radeng Togde Gyachin Ki Tseba Me Tangma Chudin Ki Kone Simjung Tenshu Ki Chogyud Tang Gyungi Nejur La Kwebel Hendab Da Jeba Dini. So this, together with the supplementary texts for daily practice, as well as for as a ritual for making long life offering in the Simchung, I think, which refers to the residence of His Holiness, based on a meter use named Thamachudin, drawing forth the pure essence Amita use, which is part of the thunderbolt sealed. The text sealed with the thunderbolt and marked with drum syllable. Doji Ra Ding, which means Vajra spokes, which are standing. Open Vajra spokes marked with drum. This is a prayer for tea offering. Holding the different offerings as part of this long life offering to His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, our supreme spiritual leader of the Tibetan people. This is prayer for the sweetened rice, I think. This is the 17th Nalanda Master's Praise. Yum Gondun, Tate Tingi, Denjun Ritu Samuel Seke, Geve Lunshin, Techo, Ume Sul, Jenze, Lutup Shavlas.
Babe gomba tenjo dato de daye mengan zanje zame joye zaje wa zanje ganje jala zowa de dembe mobo gezo daga je zama de na je de jewa do de ze yonzo bende do lobe lende jala zowa Dende ginye dewa zanye ge tanye zeve nando me sabye donge donga yondo lan genze dawa jawa zowa.
The verse in praise of Chandrakirti just finished. Namanki, Gyesan Tuje, Tsola, Jenje, Jeze, Jivat. Shandadeva. And next comes Chandrakshita. And after that comes Master Kamalashila. Senze ba beme ngantu shabla sova de jambe jesu teaching then and then comes praise to Master Arya Sangha. Yidun Susun, Yido Namdi, Trupta Sense. And next comes Master the Omniscient, the second omniscient one, as he is known, Master Vasubandhu. Nomi Jinze. And then comes Master Dignaka, Master of Logic and Epistemology. And after Dignaka comes Master Dharmakirti. Kingi jonde nave jeme baba de jala zoa yonde jala gave londe do meva ngombe mela jeje yonzo jeje jojo zede lobe zenge zambo zoa do bunde lede ne donde yeme loje zozo mano ledo denge jojo wa yende rege jala zoa lazo yende nove jala wa de time rendo beve. And there were masters Gunaprabha and Shakyapprabha, the masters of Vinaya, the monastic code of discipline. And then, lastly, Master Atisha Dipankara Srijana. Through this prayer to the 17 Nalanda masters, the crowning jewel of scholars and practitioners, may my mind be matured and attain liberation. Yeba de la Yeba Jingia. Yeba Tita Drube Do Jinjin Bella Shinda Chenam Da Tsumbar Tenla Chawa Chebara Sho De Kundo Reve Tuda Loso Yompa Tambe Kirub Rabdo Pew Zamlin Sachen Tato Zegur Chip Dedu Yonzo Yelundrup Namgen Gewai Goban Yuwa Nido W Namga Chisi Drove Dun Che Shu Bema Kes, the seven Vajra lines of Master Padmasambhava. Jesu Dadru Chingye Lapchire Shesu Guru Bema Side Hum Lapchan Tsam Bema Kesara Dongbol Yadze Chogyud Ngodru Nye Bema June Shesu Godo Kando Mambe Go Keke Jesu Dadru Chingye Lapchire Shesu Guru Bema Zede Oye Ye No Janda Bema Gezara Dombo Yanzen Joje Ngodo Nye Bema Jone Shezo Godo Gando Mambe Go Gege Jezo Da Doje Jenge Lode Jezo Bema Zede This is prayer written by His Holiness Dalai Lama to invoke the blessings of his Guru Padmasambhava. Deje kamso tende tuzembe kyune kanjong habra chison desen yapsi ekiye pögam tukshi gülme şeşe zeba dönne na didili köge tuji kyonvarası pöngshin demen kulcu dungve nar nyedan sola jikbe ngandra Shinji Dongye Davo Gyowa Ye Jenden Ganzen Banan Jeye Wende Maza Game Lege De Nak Chutang Allah Nyambe Nyanda Manze Dewe Laba Gonje Zejen Doje De Ema Garmin Deke Tutse Deta Dindol Hasan Chin Dobdan Denchi Kenje Yodo Membe Dende Dodo Lama Chusu Pecho Ganjen Geve Dedan Jende Nando Gende Mele Dendo Membe Dena Yodo Jovo Jemerenze Gengo Dove Sina Zave Ranjon Jewana Mado Loju Nyeve Dona Yeje Dozon Janje Chingi Rama Yama Oma Ma Dada Bendo Amida Orida Oma Ma Dada Amida Orid Oma Benzo Amida Orida Oma Balinda Oma Balinda Five Dakinis are invited. Actual long life ritual related with Amita use, choegyud, drawing forth bringing forth the essence Amita use. This prayer comes from a visionary, a vision. It comes from a vision of Tolchen Kunsang Namgyal. Related to the five Dakinis. Get rid of or overcome inauspiciousness. We have Nekung Kutinla waiting to go in trance. Purified state of pride, the lineage deity of the dual lineage, deity of the dual lineage, you who perform the activity of extensive increase together with your host. These are accept this offering of the 5 essential objects and get rid of the inauspiciousness of the southern direction. Please eliminate all the unfavorable conditions that come from the earth element and the afflictive, disturbing conception of arrogance. And bestow the long life initiation, the precious initiation of the wisdom of equality. And make the Guru immutable indestructible and steadfast. Praying to the Guru, who is omniscient and who has transcendental wisdom, and at the same time arises in a physical form due to his compassion for all sentient beings, and requesting the Guru to sit firmly on the line, the fearless throne, as the object of offering of all sentient beings. The Dakini of the western direction has been called on. Which belongs to the Lotus lineage. And performs the activity of subjugation or overpowering. Asking them to overcome the obstacles or unfavorable conditions caused by the element of fire and the afflictive mental affliction of desire. And bestow the empowerment, long life empowerment of Lotus lineage, which is the discerning wisdom, individually discerning wisdom, and may the life of Guru be made firm, indestructible, and steadfast, not changeable. Amen. May you live long for 100,000 eons, immutable. So that is a prayer out of the body of the Guru to live steadfastly, firmly on the indestructible high throne, and his speech fulfilling the wishes and aspirations of all sentient beings. With that quality, may he live long, and his mind being free from four extremes. And having reached the pinnacle of wisdom and compassion, with the unwavering concentration, Vajra concentration, may you live long, may you live long. Darkening of the northern direction is invoked to overcome all the obstacles. Caused by the element of wind and mental afflictions of jealousy, and to bestow the long life of initiation. With the all-accomplishing wisdom of activities. Purified state of ignorance, the deity of the Buddha lineage. Who performs the enlightened activities spontaneously together with his dear entourage. Please accept this offering of the sensual objects. Overcome the obstacles that arise from the element of space and the mental affliction of ignorance. And bestow the long life offering, long life empowerment. Spontaneous, long life of initiation of the Dharma wisdom. May you, the sun, which has no rising and setting, but appears to benefit, appears beneficial. May you live for 100 eons. Eons. Ocean of eons. Sustenance for the flower, the lotus flower of the Dharma and sentient beings. So Nechung has gone in trance, now arrives. Nichung is offering a mandala together with 5 colored scarf. There is a lady oracle going trance. Nichung is talking to His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. Changa oracle is behind Nichung. And also Nyenchen Tangla behind Changa. Changa. That's not Changa, that's another oracle from Ladakh, Kargil. Nichung is offering a beverage to His Holiness. Taking a beverage himself. The Ladakhi oracle offers mandala to His Holiness. His Holiness offering the 5-colored scarf. Nichung offered kata to the images of Avalokiteshvara and Guru Sambhava, of the Buddha, Nature goes down. The Daki Oracle talking to His Holiness. Nature Oracle giving cut up scarves to the head lamas. The Oracle of making offering of scarf to Sikong, the President of Central Tibetan Administration. And we have now next Nyenchen Tangla, another indigenous Tibetan deity. Nyenchen Tangla talking to His Holiness. And the Lady Oracle. This is a long life prayer to His Holiness Dalai Lama, composed by the previous Zongsar Kenze Rinpoche Jamyang Kenze choegyud. Edubulege, Kolu, Chogyarbe, Gunyan Duge, Longbule Bagem, Mawe Singe Shabden Sir, Anson Yanje Nizo Samen, Drishitim, Shi Wanson Yen Zapan, and Dadachi Wash. Bakuge, Nelu, Chagya Chess, Abden Yiso, Mebe. This long life prayer, Jaman Kenshig Lord Rinpoche relates to His Holiness as the upholder of all the different Tibetan Buddhist traditions. Geluk, Sakya, Nyingma, Choegyud, and also it says His Holiness has appeared in the form of a teacher in the land of snows, though he is Scarlet Chakra himself. Madre Choegyud la Nimbatel, la de Wakunge Kapch. The Jatsu Wombor Shabde Sir, Basnge, Lijuton, Kaye Jabe, Shu Kolo, Lenshin Tabje, Lenger Tuba, Yabuchambo Shabden Sir, and made such a high to Dum Betoche, Zegabe. So this prayer begins by saying that His Holiness is the teacher of all the beings of the three realms of existence, being the emanation of, or the embodiment of all the compassion for all the Buddhas. Nichung Oracle consolidates the prayers of all the lineage Lamas of the different Buddhist Tibetan Buddhist traditions, had Lamas, and offers scarf to His Holiness. Zimbe Tabo Shabden Bakunda Samon, then get no on board Shabden, what to say? But they don't so the wishes so to the Sangian wash. And said, I'm never hinged so much. I'm made on the Gavika San, the membership. The man did Shindach, Mate Choegyud in the Nimbad, in the Gat Wombership, then so there wasn't get on you Shabbat, and she call on did you watch him worship and so and it's such a high to me touch it, say a bed. Is a rock shoved in so that going in the naked part, down from Shidoku. To the Shum de Tishus, Josum Hitch, and my Yiddish. It's another long life prayer to His Holiness. Dubalam Choegyud, the verse prayer to His Holiness to spontaneously accomplish his noble aspirations. Talk offering. Long mandala offering. We are making this offering of mandala in order to request Your Holiness to live for tens of thousands of eons for the benefit of all sentient beings and as the Lord of the Dharma and all sentient beings. This ground anointed with perfume, or scented water, strewn with flowers, adorned with the Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. We imagine this as a Buddha filled and offer it up to you. In the space before us, upon a lion throne, the cushion of lotus and sun and moon, may you live for hundreds of eons to make the Dharma flourish. And as the object of our merit filled to accumulate merit. Now, Dr. Rinpoche
Shendo Kibe de General Alto Bangbara Sambaye, Tese Beljo Gomia Tukara, Yuan Chewe, Tamata, Namba Tamje, Kembe, Kesara, Tato, Zora, Tabara, Sherebe, Tole, Kebe, Tese, Melongambara, Torwe, Keleke, Lamayam Rochene, Kapso, Babe, Solo, Chavala, Tian Chike, To, Gombo, Chambe, Kiamara, Nato, Tamje, Veteran, Namdol, Tento, Latam.
Rinpoche began with supplication to the three deities of long life. And Rinpoche quoted certain lines from Mahayana Uttaratantra Shastra, the sublime continuum of the Mahayana treatise.
Losalang Batu Bezin Chavo, Mengo Dizitulen, Kelsan, Pelto Terre, Chimeke, Ngo, Abe Northern La Rawando, Church and Tine Yongi, China, Kabatan, Trebe, Kolegua, Satin Kaltan Yonzo Kenata, Suyetile, with the Toto, Trove, Nato Chengi, Kalwe Wambo, Namia, Naya Saba Mebe, Samo Cheki Kule, Mayesh, Chitara Shingi, Norbo, Rembo, Wangi, Kalbole. Dugo Tata Jungwa, Chitawa, Chindo, Durja Namka, Kamda, Wambo, Samba, Pala Nyaltan, Jeso, Suga Namro, Shalakawa, Chingi, Jambara Tabale, Tangi, Gido, Chitang, Cheta, Ranja, Kanjamba, Yongi, Japta, Gwenda, Bunyan, Cheta, Leming, Kendle.
Omniscient Buddhas, though they don't waver from their own realization, but out of their compassion manifest in the form of teachers to lead sentient beings to state of liberation, freedom, and omniscience. And particularly in the case of Your Holiness, Your Holiness, for some purpose and reason, to mention your name, So we, the Tibetan people in and outside of Tibet, of the three traditional provinces, as well as the different spiritual traditions, so Your Holiness the Dalai Lama, though in reality you are embodiment of the compassion of all Buddhas, as it's well known through prophecies. You were found as the unmistaken reincarnation of the previous Dalai Lama. Though many uncountable eons ago you became enlightened, as Chandrakirti says, the birds don't fall because the sky has come to an end. Similarly, though the emanations of the Buddhas are limitless, Aryavalokiteshvara manifested in the form of gurus. So the mysterious qualities of you are beyond the conception of even Arya Bodhisattvas. So there's no need to mention that someone like me, an ordinary being, can fathom the qualities, your qualities. But as mentioned in many sutras and mantras, just being able to make offering to even a poor of your body is greater than making offerings to all the Buddhas. In Tibet and India, Avalokiteshvara manifested in many forms, such as Kyunanga and so forth. And then in Tibet, you manifested as the progenitor of the Tibetan race.
像东东家里中央我大娘了个罗桥王沙江公干宁波，这跟这家人跑吧。
We manifested as many different Tibetan lamas and kings of Tibet. Lamas such as Sachin Kunga Nyingbo, and you have helped sentient beings of Tibet mature spiritual. We manifested also as Gyendin Trungpa, who was a disciple of. So your kindness to the sentient beings in general, and particularly Tibetans, is inconceivable. And you appeared in reincarnations, and finally now, again, you, in order to help the beings of Tibet, like us, in Daksir,
창조 삼계 주나 계제게 코로 전도 담배 타남 대셔 남배 세셔 저자 지단 미래 제배 동네 개장 담배 마르다 게 주로 마외 법박
and at His Holiness the Dalai Lama went through the study of the great classic texts Long life pills are being offered by Sakyatin Rinpoche, His Holiness. Pill. Artists of the Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts performing in the background. The 8 auspicious symbols. The 7 royal emblems. Then the auspicious substances. 8 of them. Again, the long life prayer to His Holiness, authored by Jamyang Kendi Choegyud Lord Dharamsala. Yan zube du dönam chagin yegen yezembe doge tanja doje dabo den zachun du chembo shaden su mundo In the background, we see people from the Tibetan traditional three Tibetan provinces carrying the offerings as part of this long life prayer offering to His Holiness. And this is Changzi Choegyud Rinpoche, Gozog Rinpoche, His Eminence Gozog Rinpoche offering a crystal statue of Buddha to His Holiness. And Dai Situ Rinpoche making offering of turquoise rock to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I think it's Ringu Rinpoche. This is a long life prayer to His Holiness written by the two late tutors, Gyabje Ling Rinpoche and Gyabje Trijang Rinpoche. And this is the representative, the head Lama of the Burn tradition, making offering of the three representations of body, speech, and mind. His Holiness. Gama Chawala. Tanya Gada choegyud midre Tenda Tenzin Kyong Tutsi Jin Yishi Chenden Tenzon Daja Dongshu President of Central Tibetan Administration, Sikyong, Dr. Lobsang Singye making the offering of the mandala, the three representations of body, speech, and mind of Buddha. He receives blessings of His Holiness and makes his request. The Chief Justice of the CTA, choegyud, His Honorable choegyud, and the This is a prayer to Guru Padmasambhava. The prayer spontaneously accomplishing one's wishes. We have the Nechung Oracle Medium, and the Oracle Medium of Nyenchen Tangla. And then the Oracle Medium, the Lady the two ladies. This one is from Ladakh, Kargil.
Bema June Lo So De Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Peye Nade Wenzo Nyobe Ze Gajo Boyo Zoje Langa Na Jenye Tezo Mewa Sowa Uyin Chida Nyembo Godon Je Chize Lana Jembo Tezo Me Uyin Bema June Lo Sowa Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Lo Dasi Domje Doje Jewa Jen Donje Jebe Dangla Jembe Ze Yenye Tezo Sowa De Uyin Bao Yin Dang Songma Je Dobe Senjen Jewa Tezo Me Uyin Bema June Lo Sowa Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Lo Sojo Me Long Jue Barche Ge Gyule Yabo Jila Dobe Yenye Tezo Me Wa Sowa De Uyin Jungwa Jeye Lamura Je Jungwa Ranzara Jewa Tezo Uyin Bema June Lo Sowa De Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Lo Langzang Jebe Dangla Jembe Ze Seje Jabe Jembe Yenye Tezo Me Wa Sowa De Uyin Chaja Jeye Gomba Den Zonra Mege Ngangze Laba Uyin Bema June Lo Sowa De Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Kanshe Sheme Moje Dawa Ne Zunja Nembe Deje Nyeba Na Yenye Tezo Me Wa Sowa De Uyin Doje Godan Dem Shema Jeje Zunja Dawa Yu Uyin Bema June Lo Sowa De Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Nangshi Chise Chiwe De Zhong De Neje Dongye Doje Nyeba Na Yenye Tezo Me Wa Sowa Uyin Nawa Daye Jeba De Dewa Jenje Jendo Nyeba Ye Uyin Bema June Lo Sowa De Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Yule Yabo Jebe Badoro Jena Nyede Dongye Nyeba Na Yenye Tezo Me Wa Sowa De Uyin Tezo Nyebe Doje Jena Ransar Jova Tezo Me Uyin Bema June Lo Sowa De Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Shenya Ledan Jingi Wangyo De Jena Ngobro Jenje Dongye Na Yenye Tezo Me Wa Sowa Uyin De Jenje Ngobo De Dongye Jova Zene Uyin Bema June Lo Sowa De Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Jojo Dongye Jembe Nyeba Na Jewa Peke Jemba Dongye Na Dege Mebe Dojo Jabo Ye Yenye Tezo Me Wa Uyin Doje Boja Me Wa Ze Uyin Bema June Lo Sowa Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Lo Jojo Dongye Jembe Nyeba Na Jewa Peke Jemba Dongye Na Dege Mebe Dojo Jabo Yenye Tezo Me Wa Sowa De Uyin Doje Boja Me Wa Ze Uyin Bema June Lo Sowa Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Lo Jojo Dongye Jembe Nyeba Na Jewa Peke Jemba Dong Dege Mebe Dojo Jabo Ye Yenye Tezo Me Wa Sowa De Uyin Bema June Lo Sowa Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Lo Tezon Sanje Goro Rinpo Je Ngoro Gonda Dewa Jembe Baje Gonse Tendo Chabe Ze Sowa Tezo Jenje La Doze Chena Same Baje Shiva Da Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Lo Tezon Sanje Goro Rinpo Je Ngoro Gonda Dewa Jembe Baje Gonse Tendo Chabe Ze Sowa Tezo Jenje La Doze Chena Same Baje Shiva Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Lo Tezon Sanje Goro Rinpo Je Ngoro Gonda Dewa Jembe Baje Gonse Tendo Chabe Ze Sowa Tezo Jenje La Doze Chena Same Baje Shiva Samba Lenje Jova Jenje Lo Chadong Gole Yue Geva Don Jendong Geva Sanje Dong Gala Gande De La De De Zumba Jere Se La Jeva
Good. Yeah, that's it. And cholsum rogu daja pe shumma jiji shiji cholsum choegyud java tang 대신도 삶이 용내스다 대신도 다 간다 때문에 주니 개복공아 그래서 도마자가네
Tibetan deities. Sorry. So there are Tibetan Dharma protectors such as Temachungi and so forth, who were bound by oath to protect the teaching during the King Tisung Detsen's time, and then Marchin Pomra and others who are the indigenous deities of Tibet. So the people from the 3 traditional provinces of Tibet and the major Tibetan Buddhist Tibetan spiritual traditions, together with the deities, have made this Tenshuk long life prayer offering. I would like to thank you all. I became sick some time ago, and many people inside and outside, not only Tibetans, but also people from around the world, were concerned about me. And there were many from China proper as well who felt concerned about my health. So with your unwavering faith and your commitment and spiritual bond with me, you prayed for me. I would like to thank you all. Of course, when karma is something that if you have not created a karma, you will not suffer the consequence, and you will not suffer a karma of which you have not created the cause. So some karma which somebody else has done will not be ripened upon you, but because of family relationship and also spiritual connection between Lama and disciples, and also because of being from the same, having the connection, financial connection within the family, there is, when you make prayers to one another, it has its effect. And so those who have prayed for me, you have not done it as some kind of acting superficial, but you have done it sincerely, and therefore your prayers have its own effect, and there are many prayers that were done, so it's quite sure that it has its effect and power. So I would like to thank you all for your prayers. So I cannot talk about past lives, my past incarnations, but in this life, having become a monk and having pursued the teaching of the Buddha, studying, and as Rinpoche himself has said towards the end of the praise to the Buddha for teaching dependent origination, so having followed the teaching of the Buddha, I have done quite a lot of study, and because of this study that I have done, I have felt special faith in the 17 Nalanda masters. In the past, we only had the 6 ornaments and 2 sublime masters, in which masters like Bhaviveka, Chandrakirti, Haribhadra, Vimukti Sena, and so forth were not included. So these 17 Nalanda masters who lived in the past, so if I praised and actually raised the status of these 17 Nalanda masters, there's nothing I gain from it. But if you really study their writings, you can actually see how you can help raise awareness of the teaching of the Buddha. So though I have not done much study, but I have studied the classic, the great treatises, and even today I do read them and study them even today. So having become a monk, following after you, the Buddha, and also pursued the study and having become a yogi pursuing the path. And so since my childhood I had interest in the view of emptiness, and I have really given serious thought on this topic. And my as debate assistant Gen Ngutup Tsoknyi, with whom I have done lots of discussions. Should I boast about something here? So this verse in the praise to the Buddha for, so he actually held his fingers like this, and he said this verse was very difficult, which says, so he really complained about finding it very difficult to comprehend the meaning of this verse, which says, because of the reason of dependent origination, you do not rely on the extremes. So if Ngurdu Tsongni were still alive, I would be able to offer him an offering of my practice. And Gyabje Ling Rinpoche, when I once related in connection with the second Dalai Lama, Gyendun Gyatso's songs of view, experience of the view, I actually reported to my experience of emptiness to my tutor Gyabje Ling Rinpoche, and Ling Rinpoche told me that before long you will become a space yogi, meaning someone who has gained insight into the emptiness. So because Chögyud Lama Rinpoche also had said, because of the blessings of many of his teachers, he was able to actually move his tongue to speak about emptiness. So when you understand emptiness well, and also the luminous nature of the mind, and so and also it gives some better understanding of the insight into bodhicitta. And so with regard to bodhicitta, I found my mind transform on the basis of Bodhisattva Charya Avatara by Shantideva. Since I received teaching on it in 1967 from Kunu Lama Rinpoche Tenzin Gyaltsen, so I have actually applied the teaching. So since I received teaching on this from Kunu Lama Rinpoche Tenzin Gyaltsen, with regard to this view of emptiness, the profound emptiness, and also the extensive path of bodhicitta, the method aspect of the path, and so forth. I have been able to gain some experience and also relate and share it with others. So I can see that this is really beneficial to others. So on a daily basis, I generate bodhicitta and meditate on. And as it is said, all suffering in the world come from wishing oneself to be happy, and all happiness in the world come from wishing others to be happy. And unless you exchange your own joy and happiness with the suffering with others, suffering of others, you live alone reaching Buddhahood. Even in samsara, you will not reach, have happiness in samsara. So as the prayers in Bodhisattva Charyavatara says, may I be sustenance to the multitude of beings like those of the space, the elements. And as long as space remains, I sincerely make this prayer. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, may I too abide to dispel the miseries of the transmigrators. So in this life, I feel that I have been able to serve the Tibetan people and the Tibetan spiritual tradition, and also other people, how this altruistic state of mind helps oneself and others. So because of my conviction in this, I talk about this to everybody, everywhere, that this brings peace of mind and happiness. As Shantideva says, if you are not able to, if you don't exchange or switch your own joy and happiness with the suffering of others, I mean, live alone, reaching Buddhahood, even in samsara, you will not have happiness. And so if you look in at the world, you see how people are actually creating lots of problems to one another. Of course, animals, the wild animals like tigers and so forth, they kill other animals. When they are hungry, they do that, but not to the scale that human beings cause so much harm to one another. This human intelligence, instead of using it for positive, constructive purposes, people are using it as and making themselves like servants of under the influence of the negative emotions, and cause lots of problems, even to the extent of killing one another. So we are at a very sad situation in the world today, and therefore altruism is very necessary in today's world. So the philosophical teachings of the 17 Nalanda masters are also very important, following the Buddha's own statement, O monks and scholars, just as gold is tested by burnishing, etc. Likewise, you should examine my teaching. So the Buddha says, his disciples should not just believe in what he has said, but do critical analysis and investigation through reason and logic, and experiment. And through these means, once you find some conviction, then experiment his teaching. So it's only the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha himself alone, who has said so amongst the many different founding teachers of different religious traditions. So some of the Theravada monks I know, so the first sermon of the Buddha was on the Four Noble Truths. The philosophical import of it is the Four Noble Truths, and then when it comes to practicing, the 37 factors or aids of enlightenment were taught. And then what is meant by the true cessation and what is the means of that leads to that true cessation. What is that true path? Is it possible to attain nirvana or not? So we're not just saying that, oh, this is possible because the Buddha said so. And you have to actually establish this truth through reason, and that's why it's taught in the perfection of wisdom teachings, the second turning of the wheel of Dharma. And today the people of the Pali tradition also pay attention to the using reason as well. So regarding the teaching of the Buddha, the Four Noble Truths, and there are 16 aspects or attributes which are really amazing. But if you only rely merely on scriptural citation, and it would be like chewing on something without teeth. But the Sanskrit tradition,
Sanskrit tradition did lay not like any long samla gives you
so Sanskrit tradition not only resorts to scriptural citations but also use reason and logic. Like Master Nagarjuna uses lots of reasoning in his Mula Madhyamaka Karika, and Aryadeva, his disciple too, does that. And then with regard to using logic and reasoning, emphatically we have the Master Diknaka and Dharmakirti, and so these two masters are like the masters who have given us teeth to chew on even very hard matters. So the Buddha taught the first sermon, and then the second turning. And together with this, along with that, we also come across that of logic and epistemology. And then the third turning, which teaches about the subjective clear-light mind, and that connects us to that of the Tantrayana. So Gungdan Rinpoche has said that the three turnings of the wheel of Dharma are like the progressively climbing a mountain. So the first turning of the wheel of Dharma leads us to a certain stage, and then the second turning emphasizes the true cessation and true path, and then when you reach the third turning, it emphasizes mainly that of the subtle mind of true path, wherein there is also this third turning makes differentiation between the subtle and gross states of mind. In the beginning, when the Buddha became enlightened, he said, I have found this nectar-like Dharma, which is profound, peaceful, free from elaborations, and luminous and unconditioned. So the first two words, profound and peaceful, refer to the first turning of the wheel of Dharma, which shows how we are led into the samsara through the origin of suffering, giving rise to that of the origin, the true suffering, and how to get out of this cycle of existence through the path and attaining true cessation. And so with regard to the peacefulness, to demonstrate it through reason, we have the second turning of the wheel of Dharma, which is shown by the freedom from elaboration, and luminosity and unconditioned refer to the third turning of the wheel of Dharma, the third wheel, which is mainly the source of the source sutra of the Mahayana Uttara Tantra, where there is teaching on the Buddha nature through the 9 analogies or examples. And so we can see how the teaching of the Buddha can be understood as a progression from the first to the third turning of the wheel of Dharma. So we can understand as the intelligence and understanding of the disciples deepen further and further, the Buddha gave deeper and deeper teachings, progressing from the first to the second to the third wheel of Dharma. So since there is the Sanskrit tradition emphasizes reason to establish the meaning, of course, for the obvious things, we don't need to reason out things, but on the basis of what is perceptually cognized, we use reason to see those which are slightly obscure or hidden phenomena. And when you are able to see the Buddha as an authoritative person, as a reliable person, by understanding emptiness and so forth, and then you'll be able to also see that the very obscure or the extremely hidden phenomena, although are hidden from us for now, once you find the Buddha through reason to be a reliable person, you can also see these teachings of the Buddha pertaining to the very hidden ones to be also reliable. And so this is something that we also have experienced in our day-to-day life. So the science mainly deals with the obvious phenomena, the manifest ones. So in our tradition, there is the manifest phenomena, the slightly hidden, and the very hidden phenomena. And so when we do discussions and dialogues with this modern scientists, we are able to actually learn there's a mutual learning between us. We learn from them, they learn from us. And so the instructions of the Buddha, which were made clear to us as if giving eye to us by the 17 Nalanda masters. So in this life, I'm able to serve human beings in the Dharma quite a bit. Therefore, my 3 commitments as one of the 7 billion people on this earth, since we are related, as much as I can, I serve. I'm thinking of serving humanity. And then as a Buddhist, I find it very important to have religious harmony amongst religious traditions. It is something inconceivable that in the name of religion, people are actually killing one another. So, in reality, in India, the different religious traditions have been there for centuries. There is the practice of ahimsa, non-violence, which is rooted in the motivation of karuna, compassion. And so, in the Indian, classical Indian tradition of compassion, we find it very relevant in today's world. So the non-Buddhist Indian traditions believe in an independent Atma or soul, and the Buddhists reject that. But we both still do accept a self, because we do take food, drinks, tea, and so forth. So however much Buddhists say there is no independent self, we still do assert a self that is conventional. And so the Indian tradition is very amazing. And then there is also the practice of the calm abiding, shamatha, and vipassana, the penetrative insight. So all the major religious traditions of the world live in India. There is no conflict between the Shia and Sunni within the Islamic tradition in India. So in other parts of the world, there's killing of people, one another, in the name of these two denominations within Islam. They follow the same Quran, they follow the same Allah and Muhammad. Why do they do this? So, in order to be able to show to the world that religious harmony is possible, because it is possible in India. Why do we have the different philosophical concepts of the different traditions? Is to discipline our mind. Even the theistic religious traditions are meant for that. So, but though philosophically there is difference, the aim of all these religious traditions is same. That is peace. And so that's my second commitment, religious harmony, promoting religious harmony amongst religions. And then thirdly, as a Tibetan, whatever the history may be, in this life, for Tibetan cause, Tibetan spiritual tradition, and so when I was in Tibet, before becoming an exile, I have been able to benefit the people and the Dharma of Tibet quite a bit. But after, due to certain conditions beyond our control, we became exiles. And to promote, to raise the awareness of Tibetan traditions, while keeping the Tibetan identity intact, I have done my best to educate the Tibetans in exile. And so we have been very successful. Even though we are refugees, we are very unique amongst the refugees around the world. And so I have led the Tibetan people for our cause. But I have done my best. Though inside Tibet, there's nothing much I can do. But with regard to the Tibetan religious traditions and our cultural tradition, so the ritual that we have done earlier, part of it comes within the Lamaism. But that Lamaism is also based on the three wheels of the Dharma. So the Theravada monks may have felt that Lamaism may be true when they saw all these different things earlier. But when you actually sit down and discuss about the religious tradition, the spiritual tradition that we have, we can explain it. So the Buddhist tradition that we have in Tibet is a complete Buddhist tradition, which comprise both the basic and the universal vehicle, together with the Tantra. This tradition was established in Tibet by Master Chandrakshita, he himself being a great logician, and use proofs and Master Sakyapandita also wrote the Treasury of Logic and Epistemology. So with regard to paying attention and taking interest in logic and epistemology, there is none like the Tibetans amongst the different Buddhist followers of Buddha's traditions. So we really have been practical about the Nalanda University tradition of Buddhism. And so today people do not have this idea of Lamaism regarding Tibetan Buddhist traditions. So instead people are now able to see that this tradition that we have follows reason. And today Tibetan is the best language to explain the Buddhist philosophical tradition and logic. So the Tibetan script is based on some old Indian script. So Tibetans have been really intelligent in following the teaching of the Buddha, the Nalanda tradition. So this language that we have is very precious. So in English is not adequate, and the Hindi is also not adequate. So Sanskrit is not in much use, and therefore Tibetan language alone is the one which can precisely explain the Nalanda University philosophical tradition. So, as a people, we can actually make people aware of, respect our identity. So I have made some contribution to this since we came into exile. It's been 60 years, during which I have been quite helpful, and I have been able to promote people's understanding of the Buddha Dharma and also bring about harmony amongst the religious traditions, and particularly the courage and the inner strength of the Tibetan people inside Tibet are unwavering, and their spirit has been unflinching. So because of that, we in exile in India also are able to keep up with whatever we are doing to preserve our own cultural tradition. And so of course, mainly because of the inner strength, the courage, and the spirit, firm spirit of the Tibetans inside Tibet, we have been able to do something good. I've been able to contribute something to our cause. So as someone who make this prayer, may, as long as space remains and so forth. So since I'm able to benefit beings, if I live longer, it would be good. While I'm able to help. And this first Dalai Lama Thamjin Khenpa Gyalden Drup has said that he has no wish to be born in some kind of a heaven or paradise, but to be reborn in places where he could actually serve suffering beings. And so, regarding myself, I'm able to make some contribution to the world today, as the first Dalai Lama made his wish. He lived about 84 years. So when I do make prayers to the first Dalai Lama, I still make prayers to make my prayers to the first Dalai Lama, to give his blessings so that I could still live for 10 to 15 years more, to continue my service to the beings and the Dharma. I had a very typical dream. I was swimming. I don't know swimming, but in my dream I was swimming. And on my back was Palden Lama, and we were talking to one another. And Palden Lama said to me, "There's no doubt you'll live 110 years. So Palden Lama said that. And then in a previous dream, it was said that I would live 113 years. So this my living some more years, 10 to 15 years more. And so it's not just a wishful thinking, but Gato Gyetse Rinpoche also, who just passed away last year, and one of the previous Gyetse Pendita, there is a prophecy that I would live 113 years. So I have a great hope of being able to live 110 years. And so I will feel determined to live, and please make your prayers as well for that to happen, to materialize. And in Ladakh, people were asking me to come here and there, and I told them, do you prefer for me to live longer by staying relaxed, or live a hectic life and live shorter life? And so the concerned people have all told me that I need more rest. That's what I need. So finally, you have made this Tenshuk long life prayer offering to me. The people and the gods together have made this offering of long life prayer. And so I'm sure it will have its effect because of the circumstances of the causes and conditions coming together. So I hope to live 110 years if I take care of my health well. Thank you. That's all. Short long life prayer of His Holiness, making prayer to Amitabha and so forth. And then the concluding mandala offering. Having accepted our request for you to live for tens of thousands of eons for the benefit of, as a lord or of the Dharma and sentient beings, we make this mandala offering, Thanksgiving mandala offering to you. The Tibetan cabinet ministers, surrounded by the snow-capped mountains, the source of all good and happiness, Avalokiteshvara in person, Tenzin Gyatso, may you live until that end of samsara. This prayer to omit the use. So this is the prayer for the spread of the Buddha's teaching in a non-sectarian spirit, written by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama himself. Sanjin doje tekbe rimni lam sabse peke losan kewe ten kanchon ke ten yurin pa gyo chik ten sum da ke de shi te nam ke mo korim nam nano yam so lembe kanchon ke ten yurin pa gyo chik je chen da shi sum Chenan Shen Sun Tuge Kolo Ye, Lokaba Pujo Lusun Je, Kandon
Yuren Ba, Dona Shebe,
Gajen Namju, Tantu Yu Shinda Chida, Shiche So, Donga Sun De, Mema Tome,
Ganjon Geden Yuren Ba,
Denze Shabden Tudun Gendun, Temba Kolo Sun, Tenla Tebe, Kibu Saden Kyab, Anjume Geden Yuren Ba Gyurchik, Gende Wodo Samjura Miyam Hidashi, Yeje Chamden, Nuju Getzembe, Dega Gyatsu, Dajan Dene Yonzo Dembe, Langja Chin Simbe, Samba Tawa La, Tusan Gombe, Chido, Chen Dende Sala, Nureju, Gamjeta Dukebe, Simjin Chir, Yawan Gese, Yuncho, Shumdang Yenshin Lelo Mebatan, Diji Dumbe, Choge Jubarasho, Daja Denda. Manam Deve Guru Gyuwadan, the Dagunge, Dugun, Kancheba, the Gun Dalayon, some membersho, Nane, India, the Gapella, Cheba, Murder,
Sanjo Longe Gendenjo, Dona Jisen Nanga, never done, Treve Dungen, never did. Dajan Nedem, Don Javoye, Pende Javonia, Yo. Sanje Naze, Zodo, Danje, Jango, Jedan, Sedon, Vezon, Dan, Chaja, Doba, Godan, Lai, Sanje, Bavo, Dinla, Chazelo, Sanjan, Dendo, Dajing, Gawa, Ganshi, Cheche, Daje, Dewa, Danwa, Ye, Demba.
This is also a prayer for the flourishing of the teaching of the Buddha. Comes from Sutra. This prayer recounts the Buddha, in this prayer, Buddha recounts the hardships that he went through, such as giving away his wife, children, his precious possessions and so forth, and how he endured hardships in the practice while practicing patience, morality, and so forth.
Yunden, Dodo, Gonzo, Pega, Danga, Yijin, Quinji, Tenjon, Danje, Dona, Denza, Nande, Nambeja, Dayon, Gondon, Godan, Denjo, Reza, Sami, Segaba, Javel, Londo, Gedem, Zonlen, Gendo, Jova, Gawa, San, Tedara, Naya, Kamil, Lewan, Tendre, Gedem,
The sound of the drum beat, which is a prayer composed by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama to the Buddha. This prayer was composed in Bodh Gaya, when all Tibetans made donations in order to offer the gold crown protrusion to the Buddha and the monastic robes to the Buddha statue in Bodh Gaya main stupa. And in this prayer, His Holiness also prays that may all the followers of the different religious traditions be harmonious with one another by respecting one another's religious traditions, and those who serve in the Tibetan administration, may they be guided and cared for by Avalokiteshvara from life after life. These are the three verses of auspiciousness, actually invoking the blessings of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha for the goodwill of the world and be the words of truth, prayer of the words of truth, composed by His Holiness Dalai in 1960, invoking the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for the flourishing of the 10 virtuous deeds in the world. This prayer is for Tibet and the world at large, that the drought, famine, and so forth may cease in the world, and particularly the hordes of negative things that are being inflicted upon the Tibetan people be ended swiftly through the blessings of Avalokiteshvara. In the land surrounded by snow-covered mountains, the source of all good and happiness is you, Avalokiteshvara in person, Tenzin Gyatso. May you live until the end of the cycle of existence. And then the verses of dedication prayers. May we never be separated from the perfect Guru and attain Vajradhara state by progressing along the path and the grounds. His Holiness is departing the Tibet Temple.